What up? So, this is new. This is an idea I've had for a while, and Invoice was talking about doing it. And I have a lot of experience with Blue Kaizo at this point, playing it for several years, being one of the few to complete a hardcore Nuzlocke of it. I feel like I can say I'm kind of an expert in this game, and I want to kind of give my opinion on this. And like I said, this is something I've wanted to do for quite a while. And so Invoice was talking about it. I stole his idea, and here we are. So, I think these tiers are going to work. I think this is understandable. I'm not going to do, like, not fully evolved mons. I'm only going to do, like, the fully evolved mons and, like, talk about them in context of the entire line. I think that's probably the best way to do this. So, I guess the best place to start. I want to knock out this unobtainables real quick. Pokemon that, like, the player just does not get access to. Obviously, this is going to be, like, all the legendaries. I'm just going to quickly throw them in there. As well as, there's a few others that, like, the player just does not get access to. Pinsir is one of those. I think Pinsir would probably not be very good. It is a bug type. There's a lot of bug type weaknesses. It is also fairly fast and gets access to Guillotine, which is like the reason why it's not obtainable for the player, is just so you can't cheese the game with Guillotine. That being said, I still don't think it would be very good. If I remember correctly, I believe it also gets access to Wrap. I'm going to pull up the floor instead so I can kind of talk about this thing. I know you fight a handful of Pinsers throughout the game, and just like every other mon with like Oko moves, as long as you outspeed it, it's not really ever a threat. But I do think that if the player had access to the Oko moves, it'd be a little different, because you do get access to Badge Boost. Yeah, I just, let's see, Wrap, Guillotine, Body Slam, you get Slash eventually as well. Yeah, like, you just don't get a stab move on this, because Gen 1 stab moves are, I mean, like, bug moves in Gen 1 are just really, really atrocious. They're just never, you're just never going to see this, even if it was, like, obtainable. I don't think it's very good. Let's see. You also do not get access to Chansey. Chansey is absolutely fucking absurd. It's buffed in this game. Base 45 defense on a Pokemon with 250 base HP is absurd. I'd say it's the hardest part of the Blaine fight. The rest of the Blaine fight is pretty easy. There's obviously Professor Oak's Chansey is like the big one in the game that you have to beat, and it requires just so many mons to be able to set up to not only take it out, but also to like clean up the rest of the fight, to like get you in a position where like Arrow can come in and just clean up the rest of the fight. Chansey's really fucking good, man. It would be bananas if this was accessible to the player, and I'm very glad it's not. Let's see. Other mons we don't get access to. Jinx. Jinx is also buffed in this game. Psychic types are absurd, which is why you don't get access to them until extremely late, with the exception of exactly Mr. Mime, which we'll talk about here in a while. Yeah, Jinx is insane. It's also buffed. It's just one of the scariest mons you see over and over and over again. And every single one of them is just like, well, this is demonic. Not only does it have the like two best stab moves in the game in Blizzard and Psychic, it also has Lovely Kiss. So like if you just forget to pre-status, which I've done multiple times, you just lose them on because you get put to sleep, and then by the time you wake up, you've taken too many Blizzards or Psychics and just get KO'd. Yeah, the fact that this is buff defense, speed, and special in this game is insane. Yeah, this is demonic. And let's see, we also do not get access to Tauros, the best Gen 1 Pokemon, outside of obviously the legendaries. Like any OU team starts with Tauros. If you're not playing Tauros in competitive Gen 1, you're doing something wrong. There's a reason. On top of that, it is also buffed in this game to have, I believe, just higher speed. I want to confirm that before I lie. Oh, higher attack and higher speed. Yeah, this thing, yeah, every Tauros you run into has to be very, very carefully navigated. They're absurd. I think that is it for unobtainable Pokemon. The only other one I'm going to throw in this category is Mr. Mime, and I'm going to speculate on how good this is. Mr. Mime is obtainable one of two ways. It is a 1% encounter up on Route 25, which I believe, from what I've heard, is a mistake in the code. Like, it was not meant to be there. But, man, even like counting it, I think it's fine. So you get Psybeam, Thunder Wave, Hypnosis, Thunderbolt, and then 39 you get Psychic over Psybeam. You get Seismic Toss, so you can like set up like switch AI that way. 90 speed, 100 specials, pretty okay. 65 defense kind of sucks. 40 HP is like Mr. Mime's big downside, right? But I mean, you get good attacks on this thing. It is a psychic type, so if you ever roll this, that is also true. You do get Mime if you have Golbat. You can trade Golbat for Mr. Mime in the VR split. Technically, it's obtainable before that. It's just not going to ever listen to you. So I guess if you really, really wanted to, you could use it for like pivoting, but that doesn't work in Gen 1 because the AI picks its move after you've selected yours. So like you can't just like switch into a psychic type, take a psychic, bait something else. That's not how Gen 1 works, right? So like, sure, it's obtainable before VR, but it's not ever going to be used outside of VR split if you're trading for it. It's just going to be box fodder, and yeah, I have no Mime data. That Mime data doesn't exist. It's a 1% encounter you just never are going to get. That being said, on VR split, having an extra psychic type I think would be very useful. There's a ton of psychic types on that split that you have to fight. Being able to like have this come in and like T-wave them or hypnosis them and then like switch to something that can actually take them out seems pretty okay. It seems like a pretty okay hypno answer. I don't know if you're bringing this to the 12v6. You could. I legitimately think you could bring this to the 12v6 for like the Jinxes and the Hypnos, and just like try to put them to sleep, switch into something that can actually threaten them and take them out, sack it eventually when it gets low. I think that's like a fine thing you can do with it. But I really can't truly tell you how good Mr. Mime is because I've never used it. On paper, it seems okay. In reality, I'm not sure. I think that's it for unobtainable Pokemon. I think everything else I've used in some capacity. Oh, I didn't realize you actually had it. Okay. So we actually have someone with Mime data. Hell yeah. Invoice can actually speak on it then when he does his. Pretty okay, I think. Yeah, I also think that, like, if you do somehow manage to roll it as the 1% on 25, I think it could be really useful throughout like the mid game. Just being able, I don't know. I'd really need to play with it to be able to tell you. I use it with a mental of you can die here. I don't care since it's the last 10ish fights of the game. Yeah, exactly right. Like once you get to VR. I played all of my VR fights like in advance, so I knew like what was sackable when, and just played with that mentality. And I think that's a completely safe way of doing it. It's just, well, I worked backwards. I planned my 12v6 and just worked my way backwards, so I knew on fights if I needed a sack what would be sackable because I already had everything past that planned. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like mine would be okay. I would like to play with it at some point. If I ever play where you get to pick your encounters, I'm going to take Mime just so I can have data on it. Alright, I think it is time to start at the beginning. And where better to start than with Venusaur? Venusaur is it's easily the best starter. That's coming from the guy who started with Blastoise. I am the only, to my knowledge, I'm the only champ with Blastoise starter. Because Venusaur is just so much better. Especially if you play like I do, where you GMO your starter. Having a perfect Venusaur makes so many other fights safe. I'd say it falls off, but like the fact that it is also a poison type means that it has a lot of weaknesses to, like the big weakness obviously is being weak to psychic types, right? But like I think typically I'll bring it to Sabrina and try to solo the Slowbro with it, and at that point I feel like Venusaur has carried its weight a lot, and that's usually a point where I'm fine sacking Venusaur at that point. It's probably useful in Geo, like the Geo Gauntlet. I wanna pull those trainers up so I can look at them and actually talk about them, like in context of this. Where's that pig? Where actually is Lily? Where's Pig? Lily is very excited today. She is very, very excited. Geo Gauntlet. So you can use this against the Poliwrath. You don't want to use it against Dugtrio. You're going to get outsped. It can take out Golem. Probably not using it against Starmie just because Starmie is threatening. The Black Belt, it can take out Rhydon. Put Jolteon to sleep. Switch into something that can then, like, if you're bringing Dugtrio, you can switch in, like, put this to sleep. Switch into Dugtrio, and then Dugtrio probably can take out Jolteon, Nidoking, Nidoqueen. I feel like that's pretty okay. It feels like there's enough use case that you could justify bringing it to Geo's gym. I haven't ever done so. I don't think I've ever had a Venusaur get past Sabrina, so that's where my data ends with it. But I feel like this Mon is easily the best starter in the game. Definitely carries its way through the entire game. Charizard sucks. You're gonna hear that a lot about like basically every fire type in the game. Charizard is even worse than most because of its flying typing. It also means that you just have extra weaknesses on top of it. Charizard is my go-to. Like I bring it typically to Erica, and if it dies in Erica's gym, I'm like, if it dies to Erica, I'm fine with that usually. At that point, you usually have some other fire type, may that be like Arcanine or Rapidash. I think are both like, I think the fire types you have access to at that point, you have Rapidash, Ninetales, Arcanine, and I think all three of them outclass Charizard, mainly because Charizard just has extra weaknesses. You don't have access to Magmar till later, but yeah, I feel like Charizard is pretty easily outclassed. Blastoise, I fucking love Blastoise. Blastoise being a bulky water type means that it can take explosions. I used it against, I think, 2, if not all 3 Geo fights. I've used this in every Geo fight, setting up Dig Glitch with it and sweeping that way. Especially the later ones, like, see, Geo 2 and Geo 3, because he leads Persian, you can punish Geo hard. Just put this thing to sleep with Gengar, swap into like Jolteon on Geo 3, or like some Sand Attacker or Flashmon, flash down the Persian, and then just set up a prepared Blastoise and sweep that way. I'm pretty sure I've done it on Geo 3. Usually by Geo 3 you have, obviously you have Slowbro by that point, and like Slowbro is just safer because it has Amnesia and can clean up everything quicker. You're not worried about like stalling out this Mewtwo, because like you can't get rid of the para off of Blastoise because you need your rest TM. But Blastoise is absolutely one of my favorite mons in the game. Obviously, Venusaur is the best, but like, there's a reason I ran Blastoise for so long in this game. It's so good. Butterfree. Butterfree sucks, man. It was my go-to Ditto answer for the entire playthrough. And that sounds really weird, because, like, what is Butterfree doing against Ditto? The answer is it has really bad stats and can Sleep Powder it. So you get transformed, you just stay under-leveled, you have it get transformed, and then Sleep Powder them, switch to an answer, KO them. Like, even if you miss your Sleep Powder, you're a Butterfree, your attacks are going to do nothing, so you just... It's really bad. It's fine depending on where you get it. But typically this is just an eject button. I don't even think, like, even early game, I don't really like Butterfree. Beedrill, though, I think Beedrill's fine. Beedrill's definitely better than Butterfree. Beedrill, you can do a lot of work against Erica. A lot of her mons being 4 times weak means that Beedrill can just hit Twin Needles and do a ton of damage with them. You can't sweep Erica, but like, you definitely take out Vileplume, you can take out Venusaur, Tangela, Victory Bell. The downside, you don't want to use this against Vileplume because typically you're not one-shotting it. Yeah, like, that's completely fine, right? Like, Venu is replaceable, but it is definitely a very good mon with very unique things. The fact that it is a fairly fast mon with Sleep Powder is good. The fact that it gets access to Razor Leaf, so you can take out like every Slowbro with it, is also very good. Yeah, Venusaur is a very good mon. Beedrill, it's kind of okay against the grass types. It's not very good elsewhere. It's definitely one that can get sacked. I think I've brought this to Koga before and like used it in Koga's gym. I'm trying to remember exactly what you can do. Pulling up Koga now so I can look. Like, you don't want to use it against Venomoth. Weezing's going to click Fire Blast against you, so you don't want to use it there. Mr. Mime has Psychic. Yeah, you're probably not bringing this to Geo unless you need a sack. It definitely has its uses. It's not very good, though. I think is the simplest way to put it. Pidgeot, though. Pidgeot is really good for a really long time, but it also gets pretty outclassed later. I think... I don't want to say it's like peak early game because like it's definitely usable throughout the rest of the game. The fact that it gets Razor Wind really early, has an okay attack stat. You can't be parried off of Body Slam because you're a normal type. But like that's also true for Fearow. And then you get Dodrio, and Dodrio's the best of the three, right? I think I'm gonna put it in Outclassed. But I could definitely see this being... Nah, we'll throw it up here. I think putting it in Carrying Its Weight is very good. Fearow's the same boat. Just I'm going to talk about all three of these at once. Where is Dodrio? Where is Dodrio? I think... No. Okay. I think because Dodrio exists, it pushes these two down. Dodrio is easily my favorite, like, of these three. I think it's easily to, like, you can definitely say it's the best of the three. Hyperkey is just so good, man. Its attack stat is incredible. It hits incredibly hard. You can set a badge boost with it because you get access to agility. The one downside to Dodrio versus Pidgeot and Furo is you don't get Razor Wind, which is why I think Furo gets the nod over... The reason Furo gets the nod over Pidgeot is you get access to Drill Peck, which is a way better stab move than Wing Attack, which is what Pidgeot has for quite a while. So this is definitely like 1 and then like 2A, 2B. But I definitely think that like Pidgeot carries its weight very well for quite a while. Losing it is not a death null, I think is the best way to put it. You have better flying types later. Rat sucks. I don't even know where all you can get Rat, but I know I pull Rat way more than I want. I'm pulling up the encounters. So you can get it on Route 1, which you never do. You can get it on Route 12, which like it's a fine dupe to have for the later routes. There's definitely better mons on that route. Honestly, Route 12 is like one of those weird ones where you're most likely going to get a Farfetch'd, but if you have Farfetch'd duped, this route gets way better. Obviously, like, Farfetch'd Lickitung dupes means that this route's pretty okay. You can get it on 13, 12, 13, 18, and 16. Granted, it's pretty low odds on most of those. 18, it's a 15% chance, which is your highest odds. So getting it on one of the earlier routes removes it, so then you can try to get like Weezing or Muck, which you want to dupe out so you can get Magmar. And like if you missed on either of those, you probably have Pidgeot and Furo duped at that point. So then it's like Tangela, Dodrio, Primeape are like the good mons. The 18 has some very good mons, and I know you're guaranteed a shelter here if you delay, but I also think because there's so many fishing encounters with like Cerulean, there's Cerulean and a couple other routes where you can get shelter as well, and you can just dupe out everything else so you're guaranteed a shelter eventually. I think like I think fishing on 18s like is, I don't want to say it's inting. I don't think it's throwing, but I definitely think the grass is better. Is the simplest way to put it. Rat usually comes to Koga and gets sacked. It can take out Mime. I know I've used it to like Hyper Beam Mime, and with the idea of if I don't KO, that's completely fine because then I get to bring in Dugtrio, and then Dugtrio sweeps the rest of the fight. Rat's not very good. Arbok, though. Arbok, I think, is very good early game. It falls off pretty hard. You are one of the few mons that gets access to Wrap, which is unique. You also get access to Glare. You're also one of the few mons in the game that gets a Oko move and Fissure. I've literally never clicked Fissure on this thing. I never teach it. I would rather have Earthquake and Rock Slide, which are the other two moves you can get access to on it. I don't know anyone who ever taught this thing Fissure. And yeah, it's good early game. It does a lot of work for like Mount Moon, the 24-25 like trainers. You're never bringing it to like the SSN Gauntlet. If you bring it to, what is that, Route 8, where right before Celadon with all the boom trainers, getting it boomed on is kind of fine there. It's good, and it is one that like eventually you're fine sacking it, I think is the best way to put it. Raichu's so good, man. Raichu's so good for so long in this game. It's really hard to justify not putting it up in like best bonds. It's guaranteed on Route 1. It carries incredibly hard for so long. if you're able to keep it alive, you can eventually get it to have Surf. And, like, Surf on Raichu for VR split seems very good. Fast electric types are incredible, which is why Jolteon's so good. And Raichu is going to be, like, your main electric type for quite a while. That being said, I have a tendency to roll really bad Raichus and miss a lot of ranges on it. Raichu's so incredible, though. I am going to switch this around. I think just putting these E4 Mons higher, I think is going to, like... Well, you'll see when we get there. Raichu's just so incredible. I can't imagine playing this game without Raichu ever. Sandslash is really good. It's not a rock type, which is its biggest downside. But you are able to use it as a cut HM mule. You get Sand Attack on it. You get Dig as well. You get Earthquake fairly early, if I remember correctly. You get Earthquake for Surge, which is one of the few ground types that get Earthquake that early. Yeah, Sandslash eventually, like, I use it a lot to take booms, especially when you don't have a rock type. Just having, like, Mons with really high defense means that you can hopefully take a boom or two, especially against, like, Electrodes, where you don't have... like a rock type. Every rock type except for Arrow in this game is also a ground type, so Electrodes are always going to click Explosion on you. So having access to a like really high really high defense ground type makes Sandslash good, but it is definitely outclassed by not being a rock type. The Nidos are really interesting. They're really bad early, which is why I Repel Manip on 25, 28. What route is that? Right before 22, maybe? What route is that? I Repel Manip because I don't want to hit the Nidos on that route. Yeah, 22. So, Nidos are the only thing there at level 4. Nidoran and Nidorina, like, the base Nidos are really bad because it misses out on all the good moves that Nidoqueen and Nidoking get. If you Casino for Nidoqueen or Nidoking, you get access to Thunderbolt and Blizzard. I believe also Lovely Kiss. I need to confirm. Yeah, so it is a level 1 move on Nidoqueen. Plus, if you do get this early... You don't get Earthquake until 42, which is post-Surge. So, like, you can't just, like, do anything with this on Surge. Early Nidos is really bad. Rolling it on the route there north of Vermilion, I think that's 6, is just, like, a kick in the teeth because it removes it from, like, a casino encounter. Yeah, they're really good Mons. When I remember, I think it was my first E4 attempt at Wiped. I had Nidoking and it that I got from Casino, and it was just incredible there. But it also had like really high attack, and I think it had max special as well. So, like, your Blizzards and Thunders were like actually doing real damage. And then, like, my winning run, I got it, and I'm just like, wow, this thing's IVs are atrocious. It's missing every range I ever need. So, they're good. If you can get, like, with the stipulation that you get them as Nidoking or Nidoqueen. As for preference between the two, I don't think there's really any. Nidoking has a higher attack, but lower defense. Otherwise, their specials are the same. Their speeds are the same. No, I'm sorry. Nidoking is also faster. So, yeah, Nidoking is definitely the preferred one. Because you are faster and you do more damage. But they're both good Mons. It's not one that I'm going to, like, try for in Safari. If you can try to avoid getting a Nido in Safari, I think that's fine. But, like, getting one out of Casino, I think is also just great. Clefable, You just never get Clefable, man. It's just one of those mons that you just do not get access to. You can, don't get me wrong, you can get Clef. It's just not ideal. So it's on 1F in Mount Moon. It's a 5% in B1F, which is my preferred location. Because that has a ton of really good mons in it. Duping out Voltorb, Grammar Coughing, 10% Rhyhorn, and then 5% Geodude, 4% Onyx. I think are all incredible encounters there. Obviously, like, highest Rhyhorn chances there at 10%. 2F, it's also 10%, but I believe the other rock types are not there, which is why you roll 1F. I think you can also get it in Safari. It's a 1% in Safari. Which, like, it's also West Safari, which means that you have to get it post-Surf. You're just never getting this thing. That being said, getting it as a Clefable, I think actually has some utility. But again, getting it means that you're not rolling like Magmar or Electabuzz or Golem or Kangaskhan. Like, there's just so many better Safari answers than Clefable. There's Dratini in Area 3, which I think is not very good. There is a 4% Mime Chancer as well. I don't think you're ever rolling this thing. I think it's pretty easily outclassed by a lot of other normal types, and I'm gonna make another tier here. I'm gonna make another tier. And I think Clefable falls into this tier where it's just like, you don't ever want to see this thing. Your odds of getting it are not very. That's not true. You can get it on one. You can get it in Mount Moon, and I think getting it in Mount Moon is fine. It's gonna require some TMs. You can use like Bubble Beam on it. Its learn set is really unique, but it also requires a lot of TMs to be as good as you want it to be. Because Clefairy, you get Sing, Double Edge, Metronome, but Clefable also gets like Bubble Beam. You get Body Slam, Double Edge, Seismic Toss. Yeah, I just don't think you're ever using this thing. I think this is an eject button. Ninetales. Ninetales is tough, man. It's definitely better than Charizard. But how much better? Is it a whole tier better? Is it a whole tier better? So you never get this thing as Ninetales. As Ninetales, it only has Fire Spin, which is like the reason it would be very good if you could. But rolling early Vulpix gives you Flamethrower, Double Edge, Confuse Ray. This thing's Flamethrowers hit really hard. Base 100 special 100 speed means that like you're pretty likely to crit, but it is still a fire type, which is like really bad. I think it is definitely better than Charizard. Like if we're tiering these inside the tier, we will. Why not? I think that's fine. It's of the two fire types we've talked about so far, it's definitely better. But it's still not great. It's not my favorite fire type to use. We'll get to that in a while, but Wigglytuff is in the same boat as Clefable, but I think it's more likely to get. Yeah, you can get it on. Let's see, you can get it on Route 2. 5% on Route 2, which, pretty bad. It's also 25% on Route 3, which is obviously the most likely, but it's not very good there. There's so many other better Mons. There's Rhyhorn, Ponyta, Geodude, Machop, Poliwag, Psyduck, Spearow, Ekans. Like, granted, Pidgey will be duped, but there's just so many other better Mons that, like, obviously this is the worst Mon here. And then the only other spot you can get it besides that is Route 8, which is most likely going to be a Fire type or a Poison type. This thing sucks, man. Just don't use it. That brings us to Golbat. Golbat's fine. Lily, what do you want about baby? Come here. Golbat gets early Razor Wind. It turns into Mr. Mime. But I don't think it's doing much more than that. You are a Hypnosis bot. I'm pretty sure I've brought it to Geo 1 and tried to like Hypnosis something and it just immediately died because it missed like 3 Hypnosises. I think it was switch in, Hypnosis, miss, get crit. So like just really not great. What are we whining about? What is over here that we're whining? Here you go, baby. I'm assuming this is what you want. Or do you want your tennis ball? Hey, it's over here. Got her tennis ball. I think that Golbat has more upside just because it can become Mr. Mime later, which I think is good. But past that, it's not great. Lily, why are we winning? Why are we winning? What is going on that's so important that you lost your ball under the couch? Are you happy now? Are you happy? Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. I will be right back, everyone. We'll be right back. Alright, hopefully that'll subdue her for at least a few minutes. Give her some peanut butter, so hopefully she'll be good. Oh, Vileplume. Vileplume, my beloved. Easily the best grass type in the game. You're I believe the only grass type that gets access to Petal Dance. Let me confirm that, actually. Oddish, Gloom, Vileplume. That's it. And Petal Dance is also incredibly buffed in this game. It is a base 120 move with recovery. It's just incredible. You get Sleep Powder. You have a buff special of 110, buffed HP of 95. This thing's incredible. It hasn't been brought to E4 yet. To my knowledge, it hasn't won E4. I believe it's been brought, but it hasn't won. But there's a lot of talks that Vileplume should and can be champed. Parasect. Parasect is the only Pokemon that gets access to Spore, which is obviously an incredible move. You're also slow. The other problem is you also have like 49 weaknesses, and you have like 48 of them that are 4 times weaknesses. So here's the problem with everything I just said. You don't have very good stats. You have like 1 really good attack. You also get Leech Life, which can hit Psychic type super effectively, but it's also base 20. I don't like this thing. I know there's some people who absolutely love Parasect. I don't. I'm pretty disappointed every time I ever roll it. It gets Spore, and that's about it. Which brings us to Venomoth. I also hate Venomoth. There's no other way to put it. I think Venomoth sucks. You get Stun Spore, you get Sleep Powder, you get Toxic, you get Psychic. And you only get Toxic if you catch it as a Venonat. It's really disappointing anytime you roll it, in my opinion. I haven't ever used it successfully. I've tried to. The problem is like, you don't have stab moves, and Psychic can only carry you so far. This thing just kind of sucks. Dugtrio. Dugtrio is obviously an Eveformon. It is easily one of the best Pokemon in the game. It carries through so much of the game, it is not even funny. The game really opens up once you hit Vermilion, where you can get, in my opinion, 2 of the best Pokemon in the game, in Gyarados and Dugtrio guaranteed. If I ever roll Diglett before that, I just reset. I Diglett Claws and just ignore it. Because rolling it before Diglett Cave not only removes it, like, it removes that encounter, but also removes your Diglett Cave encounter as well, and because that's the only thing you can get in Diglett Cave. I just play with Diglett Claws, and by that I mean I just reset and rerun Rock Split. It's like 10-15 minutes to get back to Mount Moon, and it's completely fine just to reset, in my opinion, for not Dugtrio. But yeah, this thing is incredible. Stab Earthquake for Surge. With a little bit of setup, you can sweep all of Surge, or at least the back half, from Jolteon on. Yeah, Dugtrio is incredible. It's so good for so many fights. You're incredibly fast. You can like Sand Attack in the E4. You get Rock Slide. You can substitute with this thing. You can Hyper Beam because you have an actually okay attack stat. Yeah, this thing's just really good. It's one of those mons that like your attacks kind of all rotate between like what you need in a fight, but this does a lot of work for Rocket Hideout, for Lavender Tower, for Koga's Gym, all of like 12 through 16. This thing is incredible. It does a lot of work for Silphco. You can sweep Blaine with it. There's so many use cases for Dugtrio. It's incredible. It's easily one of my favorite Pokemon in the game. Persian. You don't get Persian until, I believe it is. You can get it in Misty Split, but I think that's only if you're playing with 28 Misty. Let me confirm that. Yeah, only if you play with 28 Misty do you get Persian for that split. And even then, it's not very good there because you don't get Slash or Hypnosis. If you can delay this thing to... I mean, even delaying it to 58 to evolve doesn't accomplish anything, because you're still getting Hypnosis for Koga Split. It's just between like 58 and 63, which 5 levels is a big difference. Getting it early can be nice. Persian is pretty easily outclassed in my mind. I think it's definitely better than B, and I think it's better than Arbok, just because you do get access to Hypnosis, and like Hypnosis can do a lot of work. But overall, I'm not really ever happy when I roll Persian. Like every opposing Persian at that point is also just completely trivialized by Gengar. I just don't think it's a very good mon, but I think that there's some use case for it. Having Stab Slash is very good. Stab Hyper Beam is also incredible, which we'll get to like normal types, like good normal types later, so we'll see it then. Golduck is like the only Pokemon I really think it is incredibly worthy to delay evolving. If you don't, I think regardless of where you roll Psyduck, you need to delay. You get Amnesia, which I have a clip on my channel of Golduck sweeping Erica. It also, like, I actually screwed up my Golduck. I was supposed to teach it Surf. Otherwise, it would have swept Erica, Tower Rival, Geo2, and potentially Geo3 by itself. Because you get access to Amnesia, you get Surf, I believe you get Psychic as well. You miss out on Psychic if you delay for Amnesia, but Amnesia is just so worth it. You do get Hypnosis as well, so like you can just like stun lock things and set up on them. This is an incredible Pokemon. It genuinely is just, it's so good. I love Golduck. There's so many fights where I'm just like, that's the thing, is like generic fights I never really use Golduck, but for the boss rushes, like you just find ways to set it up and then it just sweeps the entire fight. It's one of the few Pokemon that actually gets like a reliable setup move with Amnesia. And being able to sweep things, as we'll talk about Slowbro later, Amnesia's fucking busted. Is the simplest way to put it. If you catch a Psyduck, you delay for Amnesia. I don't think there's any argument to ever evolve Golduck early. I don't think there's like any justification to bring it for like Misty. I think just holding off until post Surge and evolving and getting Amnesia for Erica split is incredible. Granted, you're going to be 52, your cap is 54 at that point. So like where you can bring it is pretty limited. But like I said, you can bring this to Erica. I've swept Erica with a water type because Amnesia is incredible. So that brings us to one of my favorite fighting types, Primeape. Primeape is really good, man. You're fast, you hit hard. I think there's only one fighting type better than it, and it's Machamp. But Primeape is really, really good. You get high jump kick at 46, which is, I mean, granted, you're not using this a lot in the Surge split anyway. But having high jump kick for like every normal type from that point forward is great. There's multiple times where I'm just like, well, Machamp is threatened by this mon because I'm outsped, but Primeape is able to one-shot if I can get Primeape in. Because, I mean, you still have an attack stat of 105, which is incredible, right? Like, it's very good. Obviously, it's like outclassed by Machamp in that aspect, but I mean, Machamp has an attack stat of 130, and also buff special to 85, which is like also one of Primeape's downsides. Is its special is 60, so you're not like using this against psychic types ever, right? Like obviously, but yeah, Primeape is really, really good. I like it more than the Nidos. I think I like Golduck more. That's not true. Primeape has more use cases than Golduck, but Golduck definitely is an incredible Pokemon in and of itself. More fire types. I like Arcanine more than I like Ninetales. You get access to Dig. Trying to think what else Arcanine can do. Yeah, you get... if you delay, you get Fire Blast, which I believe is like one of the only mons that gets access to Fire Blast. Without using your TM for it. I think it's the only fire type that gets access to Fire Blast. That's not true. Magmar does. And I guess technically Flareon does. Oh, Charizard does. I actually did not know that. I've never had a Charizard live long enough to get Fire Blast. But yeah, you get Fire Blast for Erica, which is incredible. It does involve delaying to level 50, but if you get Arcanine on, what, Route 8, you have Fire Blast Arcanine for Erica. And her gym trainers, which is also very notable. But yeah, fire types continue to be bad. Arcanine can at least do something. Of the fire types we've talked about so far, it's definitely the best, but it's still pretty bad compared to Magmar. We should probably go ahead and just talk about Magmar. Just knock out all these fire types all at once. Magmar's like E4 worthy. Again, it has not been done in 115. I believe Samu did it in 101. I can't remember exactly, but I believe it's been champed in 101. But like no one really plays 101 anymore because 115 is doable. Magmar's awesome, man. Once you like, you route so much of your encounters around like removing. I guess it's exactly Grimer and Coughing that you need to dupe out to get Magmar, if I remember correctly. But if you can do so and like just roll Magmar, it's incredible. It's so good through Silphco. It's good for... once you get Magmar, it's the best fire type in the game. There's no other way to put it. It is the best fire type in the game. And the only other fire type we're going to talk about is Rapidash. Rapidash, I think, is fine. You get Hypnosis. You're incredibly fast. Magmar was Muck plus Charizard. That doesn't sound right. You can also roll Magmar in Safari Zone as well. So, like, getting early Magmar... If you can get early Magmar, that sounds even better. Literally, I have to ball that way. Or do you want Pig? Let's see. Pokemon Mansion. You can Repel Manip at 60. And if you do... Yeah, it's Charizard and Muck. Or if you go to 2F... it's Weezing and Muck. If you go at 63. If you go Basement, it is 64. You need Parasect, Muck, and Weezing. So there's a couple different ways to get Magmar. My winning attempt, I missed it because I forgot to Repel Manip and rolled Ninetales. And that Ninetales, I don't think, came to a single fight. But yeah, Magmar is incredible. Once you can get it, you should. I think that's all the fire types. Oh, yeah. I guess we can talk about the evolutions real quick. I play where you can only get one. And once you get Eevee, it removes the entire evolution line. And as such... You just don't use Vaporeon, you don't use Flareon, and Jolteon is like an E4 mon. It's the best electric type in the game. It would be better than... It is obviously better than Raichu, because it comes to E4. You get access to Thunderbolt, you get Sand Attack. Sand Attack over Flash is huge. You also get like Quick Attack and Hyper Beam as well. You get Thunder Wave. Yeah, Jolteon's incredible. It always has killing rolls against Lorelai's Cloyster, where I don't think you can do that with Raichu at all. I wanna compare stats real quick. Raichu is based 100 speed, 90 special. Jolteon is base 110 special, 130 speed. So just like the two stats that really matter on your electric types, Jolteon's just better. It's just better Raichu. Once you get Jolteon, Raichu really falls off. It's the simplest way to put it. I think that's all the fire types. We can. I'm gonna continue to do it how we've been doing it by going by Pokédex. I think it's fun. Better to do it that way. I guess I can knock out the fossils real quick as well. You're never getting these fossils. Don't ever get them. They're bad. Don't get these. Please, for the love of all things holy, don't get Amistar or Kabutops. I know Pichel, when he beat his Nuzlocke, he used Amistar in E4 because it's the only Pokemon in the game that resists Sky Attack and Blizzard from Articuno. But like, I just don't think he realized how good Aerodactyl is comparatively. Aerodactyl's absolutely fucking insane, and easily one of the best ones. Like, yeah, there's no E4 teams without Arrow. There's a reason every E4 team has had Arrow. What are you talking about, Invoice? Oh. Yeah, granted, his run was, what, like 2017? 2018? Was it COVID era? I don't know when his run was. That was before my time. But, Pichel's the reason I played Blue Kaizo. I don't know if I've ever talked about that. He had said on stream multiple times that he would never come back to this game because it was considered impossible to hardcore Nuzlocke. I took that personally and started doing attempts back in like 21. And then obviously life caught up to me, so I had to quit. But I found him during his EK era, so that would have been 20. But like, I watched all of his like videos and stuff from before that as well. So yeah, I really hope he comes back to it after seeing it being beaten. I would love to see Pichel play Blue Kaizo again. I don't know if he would enjoy it to the level that he has every other game he's played, basically. I feel like there's a lot of this game that is pretty trivialized. But the parts that are fun and hard and challenging are incredibly fun. Like the Koga split grind, I think is, I don't want to say tedious. Obviously that split is incredibly long. It's over half the game by itself. But I think getting to, I think Silphco is like the real first skill testing part of the game, in my opinion. Silphco is incredibly difficult. And like Erica's gym, I think Erica's like the first hard trainer in the game, in my opinion. And then like Koga's also incredibly difficult, and then Silphco is just like balls to the wall. And from there, like once you get to Silphco, the rest of the game is just awesome. I love everything Silphco forward. I love Silphco. I love Sabrina's gym. Blaine is a joke. We don't talk about Blaine. Geo Gauntlet's incredible. Geo 3's incredible. All of VR I love. And the E4 is the hardest E4 in any Pokemon game, in my opinion. It is so luck dependent to go right. Look at Squirk. Squirk is a perfect example of this. He's wiped to every member of the E4 because he hasn't been able to set up Diglitch or something went wrong, right? But yeah, I love this game. I played this game for so long because of Pichel. And I don't know if I've ever said that out loud, like on the air or not, but that's why I've played it, and that's why I'm going to continue to challenge myself in this game. So let's talk about more Pokemon. Poliwrath is great. Poliwrath is so good, man. It's not the best water type in the game. I do think I probably use Blastoise more. Granted, I had Blastoise the entire game, but like I've also in 1DR trivialized Misty with Poliwrath because you get Hypnosis, so you can just Hypnosis the Vaporeon, and like you just Hypnosis is a skill testing move. I have the skill to hit it. I love clicking Hypnosis. I know it's obviously not good that you have to hit a 60% accurate move to like secure wins, but it's really, really fun. You get Blizzard, you get I think your only fighting type stab is Submission, which kind of sucks. Recoil moves obviously suck, but like we also have a damage calculator, so you can calculate exactly how much damage you're going to take from it. So like you shouldn't ever be at risk of KOing yourself. You get Pumpy. Yeah, Poliwrath is really great, man. And because it is a stone evolution, you get access to it starting in Misty Split. And at that point, it's just like it's a stat wall versus like everything early game. If you do get it late game, you get Lovely Kiss on it. I believe you have to catch it as Poliwrath to get Lovely Kiss. Yes, which with fishing you can guarantee a Poliwrath. So every run should have a Poliwrath in some capacity. It'll always know Waterfall, Ice Beam. At that point, it'll know Earthquake, Lovely Kiss, Blizzard, Hydro Pump, and you can just teach over Hydro Pump for Surf if you like consistency versus raw damage. But if you want to click the 70% accurate move, by all means. Zam. I mean, what else is there to say about Zam? It's an E4 mon. You can route. If you can guarantee Zam in VR, like more power to you. You can't guarantee it on 23 because the other psychic types there. You can get Hypno and Eggy, both of which are also incredible. We'll talk about them here after a while too. We can actually kind of just talk about all the psychic types. They're all incredible. Slowbro gets his own section, but like, yeah, obviously Zam is an E4 mon. You can dig glitch with it. It can set itself up. It has recover. It has stab psychic. I believe it has like one of the highest special stats in the entire game. It has one of the highest speed stats in the game. The downside is you're frail, but hey, it doesn't matter if you're just like chaining KOs with it. This thing's fantastic. Then there's Hypno. Hypno. Where the hell is Hypno? I searched for Hypno and it gives me Hypnosis. Like, understandable. Hypno is not buffed in this game at all. It just naturally has a base 115 special, which I like. Granted, that gets changed in future gens. That becomes a special defense, and it becomes a physical attacker with base 73 attack. But T-Wave, Hypnosis, Psychic. I think that's all I used on mine. I don't think I ever tarted a fourth move. It carried pretty hard through VR. I think that's the only Hypno I've ever used is on my winning attempt as well. But yeah, Hypno's really good. And I think it's justifiable to say that like every psychic type at minimum is like one of the best mons in the game. Granted, you get them so incredibly late that it's hard to like justify otherwise. I brought Hypno to Geo Gauntlet. I believe I brought it to Geo himself. Yeah, the Hypno's fantastic, man. It's really good. Like, yeah, you take hits, you deal a lot of damage, you status things. Hypno is great. The other one that we can talk about real quick is Eggy. Eggy's another E4 mon, thanks to Dre. Had been theory crafted for a while that it could. I'm glad to see that Zam and Eggy finally are in the E4. Are finally in the Hall of Fame. Did you drop your toy under the couch again? Here, come play with your ring. I think all of her toys are back behind the chair. Yeah, I cheated in my my first E4 because I thought you had access to the Solar Beam TM. You don't, which sucks, but Eggy doesn't need a grass type move to be good. Eggy is just incredible. You have Stun Spore, you have Sleep Powder. Obviously, you're a Psychic type, so you're resistant to other Psychic types. I believe. I want to check. Execute does not get Body Slam. For some reason, I thought it had access to Body Slam, so you had like actual stab. I mean, not stab, but just like physical damage as well. But you can teach this thing Hyper Beam. Like, you only have 3 moves on this. You can also, like, explode it. Like, if it is coming to E4, you can just blow it up on something. Yeah, Eggy's incredible. Another, like, very, very important mon. Which leaves us 2 Psychic types. There's Slowbro, and there's Starmie. I think are the only other 2 Psychics, right? That looks right. There is no Blue Kaizo E4 without Slowbro. I know I said that about Arrow, but like in all actuality, Slowbro is what trivializes the entire E4, and trivializing it is really overstating what it does. It's the only other mon in the game that the player gets access to with Amnesia. What is under the couch that we're talking about? What is down here? Oh. Yeah. Watch out. You want this? Or do you want this? You get one of them. You know what? I'll be nice. You can have one. Alright, little bit. Or yeah, I swear to there's a ball. That's not a ball. No, that's not for you. Come on, go get a toy. Where's Pig? Oh. Good girl. There's a reason Slowbro is my first tattoo, man. There's a reason that this has become my favorite Pokemon. There's a reason that I'm known as the Slowbro guy at this point. Like, I literally cannot stress how good this Pokemon is in this game. Yeah, it probably deserves a tier of its own, like in all actuality. But for simplicity's sake, we're not going to. So, That leaves Machamp. Machamp is incredible. Machamp is probably the best fighting type. I don't think there's any probably about that. Machamp is the best fighting type in the game. I don't think you can bring it to 115. It is 100% viable for 101 though. Which where'd it go? When I run 1DR again, I'm playing on 115, or I'm gonna play on 101 because I want the E4 to actually have some unique mons and show off some unique strats other than Dig Glitch. So I might champ Machamp. Who knows? Machamp is incredible. I love this thing. It can switch in, take hits, KO things, make every normal type in the game sad. You get Earthquake, you get Rock Slide, so you can beat up opposing ground types. You probably, rock types. You probably shouldn't because you probably have like a billion water types to like be able to do so. But like if you need to chain something, you can like Machamp High Jump Kick. High Jump Kick is also incredible in this game, being only like 1 point of recoil if you miss. Yeah, Machamp's one of my favorite Pokemon in this game. I hate this thing. I hate Victory Bell so much. I hate this thing. I hate this thing. In reality, it probably deserves, like, right there. Probably right there. It's fast-ish. Your base 70 speed. If you do manage to keep this around for VR, you get Lovely Kiss, which is obviously a huge upgrade versus Sleep Powder. But your best damaging move is Razor Leaf. You're a physical attacker who, I guess, like, your special is still 100 in this game, but Stun Spore's good. You only get Sleep Powder if you get, let's see, you have to have either Bellsprout or delay Weeping Bell to 49. Otherwise you just like miss Sleep Powder, or you can catch Weeping Bell as well. But if you get Bellsprout on, I think it's 24, you miss out on Sleep Powder until you evolve. Lily is currently doing tornadoes on the couch. I can hear her. I hate Victory Bell. It's probably my least favorite grass type in the entire game. And that's saying something because Parasect is here. Parasect at least gets Spore. But I will say that Victory Bell is a better Pokemon. Tentacruel? It's good. It's probably better than Polly. You can do some really funny things with Tentacruel because it's a fast rap user. You also get Toxic, so you can just like Toxic solve people. I think my other two moves I had on it were Surf and Cut because I wanted to reduce the number of HM Pokemon I needed to carry around. Yeah, Tentacruel's great, man. You can technically trade for one in Surge Split. Don't do that. You can guarantee a Tentacruel, and guaranteeing it means that you don't have to wait for VR Split for it to come on. Tentacruel's great. I highly recommend using it. I'm going to talk about all the rock types here. Just simply put, this is probably right. I think this is probably right. Rhydon and Golem are both 1A, 1B. You can guarantee a Golem in Safari Zone if you don't have a rock type at that point. You can Repel Manip to guarantee a Golem, so you can get one. Rhydon and Golem being able to just take any physical hit you ever need it to and probably KO back with either Rock Slide or Earthquake is incredible. Golem in particular, I think, gets a slight nod because it gets access to Explosion, so you can blow it up on any of the VR trainers. Like, once Golem is done its thing, you can just blow it up and it's fine. Onyx, I believe it was Tom was talking the other day how Onyx has more use stats than just being a rock type. It gets access to Bind, which is just the same move as Wrap, I believe. I don't think there's any difference between the two. And it's also relatively fast. That's not what I want. Yeah, Onyx is a base speed of 70, so like not bad. Base 160 defense also means that you're just like taking any hit, but the downside is you have base 45 attack. But you know, I like if you roll a rock type on either Route 3 or Mount Moon, you have a free surge. Because your rock type takes out Electrode plus Magneton, and then you just need a Porygon answer, and then you have Dugtrio to sweep up the rest of the fight. Like, you can have a 3-mon surge if you have a rock type. Otherwise, it gets a little sketchy. Having a rock type's great. Highly recommend it. Which is why we already talked about Arrow. Arrow's the best, like one of the best, if not the best Pokemon in the game. Again, there's a reason that every E4 has... We didn't talk about Starmie. We didn't talk about Starmie. It's also just like up here. Every E4 starts with these 4. There's no substituting these 4 mons. Arrow hits incredibly hard. You get access to Sky Attack once you get the VR. You have Razor Wind up until that point, so you can just like do a ton of damage that way. You get Rock Slide for stab moves. You can substitute with it, so you can just like set up on like Kangaskhan's. Because, you know, random AI means that like there's a chance it just clicks Earthquake against you. Yeah, Arrow is incredible. There's no other way to put it. Arrow is incredible. I believe that's the rock types. I don't think there's any others. So what do we have left? We have Magneton. I'm gonna just start moving stuff up. Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, Lickitung, Weezing we can talk about when we talk about Muck, Wiggly-Woo, Kanga, these normal types together. Seadra we can throw over here. Seaking we can throw with the water types. All right, we're making progress. I think that's everybody. Oh, Farfetch'd. Yeah, we'll throw Farfetch'd in with the normal types. All right, I believe that's everybody. So we'll just start here and just kind of break it down by type. Water, bring this up here with the electric types. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's bust out these electric types real quick. Magneton is like 1A, 1B with Raichu. Good lordy. These are so good together, man. They're both incredible Pokemon. Magneton just hits so goddamn hard for the entire game. It has a base 120 special, which is like higher than Jolteon, right? Jolteon's 110. Yeah, so The downside is you're slow, but you're also relatively bulky. Once you get speed boost too, like your speed's not really an issue. Magneton does a ton of work for a majority of the game if you get access to it. It's not guaranteed, but you're fairly likely to get it. Hey, what's up, Seabag? What's up, my guy? Yeah, Magneton is incredible. Electabuzz, though, puts them both to shame. Electabuzz is E4 worthy. It really is. It's E4 worthy. I don't think it's been done. I think there's some talks of it. If, depending on how bad of a Jolteon you have, you might be able to justify bringing Buzz. You only have 100 special, so I think you have to hit a Thunder against Cloyster. But like this thing's just incredibly buffed. 95 attack, 60 defense, 110 speed, 100 special. It's really, really good, man. Once you get access to Electabuzz, you kind of cease to see Raichu. Magneton probably still has some usage just because like 20 points in your special attack means that Magneton's going to be able to KO things that Electabuzz can't. But Electabuzz also has Psychic, Thunderbolt, and Ice Punch, whereas Magneton has Thunderbolt. So, yeah, incredible Pokemon. Electrode booms. As an electric type, this thing is terrible. As a boomer, it's fast. Yeah, that's about all I can say about it. You want to get Electrode so you can like dupe it out so you can get a better chance at Electabuzz later. That's the reason you get Electrode. My theory has always been that the sooner you can get Voltorb, the better route you have for encounters. Let's talk about some poison types. Got a few of them here. So we have Weezing, which is a boomer. I mean, both of these are just eject buttons. You're not... I don't think I used either of these outside of blowing them up, and I don't even know if Muck can blow up. Yeah, it gets Explosion. Okay. Never mind. Yeah, these are just like mons that blow up. That's their job. Hopefully they take something out along the way. Gengar is up there with the best of the best. It's so god damn good. Dude, Tom, you say that. I have never been impressed with either of them. That might sound incredibly crazy to hear, but I've never been impressed with either of them. Muck just booms. Muck dupes out for Magmar. That's its job. Rat dies to Koga. Those are its jobs. Like when you look at the other normal types, which we'll talk about. Oh, you said Weezing. What is Weezing doing for you? Because mine just sits in the box. Yeah, but like your attack stat on Rat is not very good. Like your attack stat's only 81. Weezing kills Cloysters? I guess you do get Thunderbolt. Is Cloyster's special so bad? Is Cloyster's special so bad that non-stab Thunderbolt's enough to KO it? Man, I don't like either of those mons. I just think that, like, I think these are better than probably something like this. I think this is probably appropriate. Yeah. I guess Weezing you are okay if it just like gets boomed on too by Cloysters. I don't know. I've not been impressed by either of them. I can honestly say though, I haven't used them a lot. in my time with them, because I felt like they were just outclassed by everything else I already had at that point. Like, when it comes to poison types, like, you get Sludge, which is, like, fine, but, like, what are you clicking Sludge against? I just don't think these are mons that you really want on your team for majority of fights. Lepra comes to Sabrina and dies. That has been my experience with every Lepra I've ever had. I genuinely don't know if I have enough data to rank Lapras appropriately. It's probably on par with Tinta. Tinta's faster, though. You get Thunderbolt, so you can threaten other water types. You get Stab Blizzard. You get Surf. You get Body Slam. Yeah, I mean, it's a really good mon. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot like Gyara, except it's not. That's the problem with it. Gyara has speed, which is what makes Gyara good. Lapras has bulk. It's probably on par with Blastoise in all actuality. Stab Ice Beam, Stab Blizzard is incredible on this thing. I just don't know, like, where I would want it. And the correct answer is probably just like any fight where you need a bulky water type, which is why I bring it to Sabrina. Having an extra like bulky special type there is like good. The downside is it always is the one I'm just like, yep, I have enough water types, I don't need you, and it ends up getting sacked. But yeah, Lapras is very good. If we're talking about like the comparisons to Gyarados, though, yeah, I don't think there's any other comparison. Gyarados carries you through a majority of the game, single-handedly. Gyarados and Dugtrio, I think, are the two most important mons to get you to the late game. If you can protect them, you can probably get to Silphco pretty easily. And Silphco's obviously still mid-game, but I do think that, like, a good Gyarados makes a huge difference. A bad Gyarados is still a Gyarados. Oh, I fully disagree, Tom. I use Raichu up through. I've used Raichu the entire time. Obviously, it falls off, but like for how long you have Raichu, it's incredible. The fact that it is a guaranteed catch as well is just phenomenal. Like, obviously, once you get like Electabuzz, it becomes useless. But for so much of the game, Raichu is incredible. No, I fully disagree. I thought about throwing Pidgey down here. I really did. I think this is probably accurate in all actuality. Like, Pidgeot is so good for for early game. But man, Raichu, I use Raichu up through Sylph. Like, you think Pidgey should be higher? I can see that. I can see the argument. It's no Dodrio. Once you get Dodrio, it becomes incredibly outclassed. But it is definitely very good. Yeah, I agree. When I talked about Sandslash, the talk I had was it's just a worse rock type because it's not a rock type. That was my argument against Sandslash. I really like Dugong, man. Does it? I mean, I'm not using Sandslash against rock types, though. I'm using a special attacker. I don't think it does. Like, you are correct in some capacity that, like, the Tauroses that you're fighting also have random AI. Like, the reason I bring Sandslash to that fight is to be able to take a Hyper Beam so I can switch in something to KO it. I'm not KOing those mons with Sandslash. I'm bringing it in case I need something to take a hit and potentially take a sack. Oh, I disagree. I think that, like, your rock types... Your rock types, I think, are just way better. In majority instances, I think your rock types are better. Nah, I think y'all are insane. Sandslash is very good, don't get me wrong, but it's not on the par of like Golem and Rhydon. You cannot convince me otherwise. I'm always happy to see Sandslash, but it is nowhere near the level of the other two. Disagree. This thing KOs all normal types. Primate hits incredibly hard, man. You want to talk about a Kanga answer? There you go. Golduck sweeps most boss fights. I know I'm incredibly high on Golduck. I will be the first to admit that. That one's I will agree with that. I will put Sandslash up here. I will agree with that one. I think it is definitely better than Poliwrath and probably better than Horse. It might be better than the Nidos too. Alright. I think this is about the line where I can put Sandslash. In all actuality. It's incredible. It is a very, very good mon. But I also would rather have a rock type in most instances, I think. Ellie, what's wrong, baby? Come here. Why are we whining? Come on. Alright. I need to finish this. I haven't slept yet. Seadra sucks. Seadra's really outclassed. Seeking is atrocious. I hate this thing. Cloyster is very good. Having an incredible defense. You want to talk about a Tauros answer? There you go. This thing takes hits and can clamp them back and KO. I think Cloyster is fantastic. It's a shame you get it so late. I'd probably put it there. That's probably about right. I think I might be a high on Blastoise too. That's probably right. I like the way that looks. Yeah, I think that's right. Kingler sucks, man. It's really good early game. Like, you just get to stat check a bunch of things. The problem with Kingler is it's a Kingler. Like, base 130 attack is absolutely incredible. Those body slams are going to hit so hard. Crabhammer being a high crit chance move as well means that it's always going to crit. The downside is you have 50 special, but it is stab. Like, you can use Kingler against like opposing rock types. It can take an explosion if need be with base 115 defense, but it's pretty outclassed. It is one that if it dies, it dies. I think Marowak also fits in that camp of like good early game mon. It's probably one of the best early game mons in all actuality, but I would rather have Sandslash over it late game or like even mid game. But like it's budget Sandslash, I think is the best way to put it. I think this is probably accurate for the Hitmons. Chan is atrocious. Chan is so bad, man. It's so bad. At least Lee gets high jump kick. Chan gets like nothing. Yeah, you get Submission, body slam, seismic toss. It's just such a bad mon. You have 35 special. You can't take hits. You're not doing that much damage. Yeah, this thing sucks, man. Hitmonlee at least is relatively fast. 87 speed's good. 120 attack is incredible. You get high jump kick in Surge Split. But it is way worse than like Primeape. I would rather have Primeape every day of the week. Machamp is incredible. I would rather have Machamp every day of the week. Scyther sucks. There's no other way to put that one. I'm not ranking these in I guess I kind of am, but Scyther sucks, man. You get Slash. It's probably something like this. You get Slash. You die to Koga. Yeah. I hate Farfetch'd, man. Farfetch'd sucks. Farfetch'd is Farfetch'd is a necessary evil to dupe out so you can get the good flying types. You do get Sub fairly early. If you catch this in Misty Split, you can have Substitute on it, but like you're not really doing anything with it having Substitute. Stab Slash is fine. What I honestly think they could make Farfetch'd have Sword Stance in this game, and it would probably be like if it was the only mod that had Sword Stance in this game, I think it would still not be very good. And I think that's crazy to say, but I think it's the truth. It'd probably be good. It'd probably still be good. You get Razor Wind on it. Lax is an E4 mon. Yeah, we'll put it there. I mean, Lax is incredible, incredibly bulky. You get Lovely Kiss once you get to VR Split. I know in the days where I was doing calculus, I used Snorlax a lot. Once I got to calc, I used Snorlax way less. And I have the data to show that. I'm actually curious. I want to look. Where's all my data? This doesn't look like my sheet. It doesn't look like my sheet. Give me that pick. Give me that pick. So, let's see. Snorlax had 2 kills the entire game. But like, what it does is very important. It's like a consistent normal type that's also incredibly bulky that you get access to. Like obviously it only had 2 kills the entire game, but what that doesn't say is how many fights it came to where it was just like a wall that I needed it to be able to do something. Yeah, Snorlax is really good. I do think like it's probably it hasn't been Dre did Laxless E4, right? He didn't have Lax? Or did he? I don't remember. I know it was literally yesterday he did it, but I don't remember what he used. I am a Ditto hater. I will be very upfront about that. I know it has use. I have never used it. I think taking a turn to set up with this thing is really unfortunate. And I know I am a Ditto hater, but I am putting it up where it is because everyone else uses it way more than I do. There's definitely some very unique things you can do with Ditto that a lot of other mons can't. Getting to turn into like a psychic type can actually really be useful. Lickitung's really bad. Stab Hyper Beam. I'm gonna move Rat up. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. Kanga's also incredible. I think I'm happy with that. I think putting Dodrio up in Best Mons is good. Kanga's incredible, man. It has buff special in this game to 75 versus like 45, I think, in vanilla. It's just so good. Wiggly Woo. Wiggly Woo's really good. It's the only grass type that's not weak to Psychic. Where do I want to put this? Where do I want to put this? It's not as good as Venu. I think here's probably about right. Like you get do you get toxic? I don't remember. Hey, we're not yelling. No, you don't. But you do get rap. I know Bug used Tangela to take out Blaine's Chansey, which I think is just so funny. You also get Stun Spore. You could use your Toxic TM on Tangela, and I think that would be completely acceptable. It also has, like, because it only has 3 moves, you can always slap Hyper Beam or Cut on it as well. Wiggly Woo's good. I really like Wiggly Woo. You're just, like, never getting Dragonite, man. I'm not putting it here. I'm trying to think. I need to look at Dragonite, because it's... all the moves you want on Dragonite, it doesn't get. A la what Pori has an issue with. But, you get T-Wave, you get Wrap, you get Blizzard. T-Wave plus Wrap in and of itself is worth something. You get Razor Wind as well. Off of a base 134 attack is really high. Base 80. I mean, you just have so much bulk, man. I can't see. I know I've used Dragonite in the past in back before I was like in calculus runs, and I really don't remember a whole lot about it. It's got to be like right here, I would think. I feel like Dragonite has to be better than what I think it is. Because, like, on paper, it doesn't seem like it's doing a lot, but, like, you get Hyper Beam on this thing, you get Razor Wind. Both of those are, like, teachable, like repeatably teachable TMs, so, like, depending on what fight you need it for. You get access to Thunder if you want to put that on it. Man, this thing has to be good. I want Dragonite to be good. I know Pori was talking about taking it to E4, and then she realized that, like, all the moves she wants on it, it doesn't get. Like, it doesn't get Sky Attack. It doesn't get Earthquake. It doesn't get Rock Slide. Like, the really good moves, it doesn't get. And that makes Dragonite worse than what I think it is. I mean, than what I want it to be. But it's gotta be good. I mean, it's 600 base stats. I'm gonna leave it here. I could be wrong about this. I haven't used it in a very, very long time. But I want it to be good, man. It might be lower down here by, like, Arcanine. I'm gonna re-tier some of these. Not like re-tier, but just like inside the tier. That's probably right. I actually use Cedra. I actually use Hitmonlee. Rat's good. Rat's probably better than... It's probably worse than Persian. This is... Nah, you suck. You get down here. Alright, last one we need to talk about is Porygon. Porygon fucking sucks. I fucking hate Porygon. There is no other way to put it. It is the worst mon in the entire game. You can't tell me otherwise. This thing is fucking atrocious. Like, if you roll this in Power Plant, you lose out on Buzz. If you buy this in Celadon to make Buzz more likely, you lose out on Nidoking. Like, there's literally no good case for Porygon ever. You can roll this in Safari Zone and lose your Safari Zone encounter. Like, this thing, I hate Porygon, man. It's never a good encounter. I know, I told myself that when I needed a free sack, I'm taking Porygon because I hate this thing so much. As high as I am on Slowbro, the opposite direction is how I feel about Porygon. There's no other mon in this game I hate more than Porygon. Fuck you, Porygon. You don't even deserve to be on screen. I think that's it. I feel like I'm really happy with how this turns out. I might be too high on Raichu. I do think Raichu is like one of the best mons in the game. I really do. It's probably here. Like, that's the thing, man. Like, how good is your Raichu, though? That's the question I have for you, Swede. How good is your Raichu? Because mine, let's see. I lost Raichu in Silphco. Up to that point, it was doing... I mean, it had 21 frags in Misty Split. It had 15 in Koga. See, like... Mine was atrociously bad. Mine was incredibly bad. And, like, it still just did a ton of work. But, like, in comparison, like, it came more consistently than Magneton did. And I remember my Magneton was good. But, like, once I lost, let's see, in Koga Split, Raichu had one more. And then I missed a range with Raichu and Silphco, and so from there, like, Magneton took over. It is outclassed by Magneton, I think, in my mind, but it's also incredibly good. I don't. These are so. This is the one mon I just don't know where to put and it be accurate, man, because, like, it's so good, but also, like, Magneton can do its job and hit more ranges. The downside is you're slow, but you also have bulk. And, like, if you get to trade for Surf Raichu, I feel like it can do a ton of work in VR. But again, I need to look at VR trainers. Like, where are we using this in VR? You're not using it against, like... I don't think you're, like, using this in VR at all, ever. So even if you do get Surf on it, like, I don't think that really accomplishes anything for you. It's I think it needs to stay here. I think it's just so good for so long. You guarantee it on Route 1. It also is like a consistent arrow answer if you dodge 2 crits. Like, if you dodge 2 crits, you have a free Brock. Granted, it's an Aerodactyl, it has like a 20% crit rate, you need to dodge 2 of them. Arbok can do the same thing with Glare and Rock Slide, so then you're not risking your Raichu if you have that. You also have Marowak, which can do something very similar by just, like, punching it. Like, you don't need to use Raichu on Brock, but it certainly helps. It definitely is very good for Brock. I'm just trying to think if I would rank it. Well, that didn't work. I think I'm leaving it as is. I think I'm going to leave it as is. Yeah, exactly. Like, I was seeing if getting Surf on it makes a difference in VR, and I don't think it does. I don't think it having Surf in VR makes a difference for it being as good as it is. Like, I don't think you bring it to a single fight because it has Surf. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm not seeing a single fight in VR that I would want Raichu for. That I don't already have, like, Buzz. Yeah, I think once you get to that point, it is kind of an eject button, which makes me think that it is, like, it deserves to be down here. Because it does fall off. But, like, up through Sabrina Split, this thing's incredible. Yeah, I think it has to stay up here. I can't justify putting it lower, I don't think. I think everything else I'm really happy with. I think Lickitung might be a little high, but it does have Stab Hyper Beam, which in and of itself is worth a lot. I think Furo needs to be higher. I think Furo deserves to be on par with Pidgeot. The problem is you get Pidgeot consistently, Furo you don't. I think I'm happy with this. And now Porygon gets to be on screen. Alright. I'm locking it in. I think I'm done. I think I can sit here and look at this all day if I really have to. But I don't want to. So. This has been 2 hours of me looking at, what, like 60, 80 Pokemon, something like that. I love this game, man. I really do. I love this game so much, and I'm so glad people are playing it. Alright, Sweet. Your turn. Your turn. Time to load up and do the tier list. But I think I'm calling it. Let's go find someone to raid. Gongi's live. Gongi is the only person on my follow list that's playing Pokemon. Alright, that narrows it down. Just means you'll have to run it back so you can get more data. Alright. Everyone go tell Gongus I said hi. Thank you all for hanging out. If you missed any part of this, it's going to be up on YouTube on the VOD channel. Go check it out. If you're watching on the VOD channel, hey, hi, I stream on Twitch. I'll holler y'all later. Bye.